What's going on, y'all? So if you want to scale your Shopify dropshipping business to huge numbers, and I'm talking about big numbers like 6 figures per month in sales, then you absolutely need to know this key information. What's going on, y'all? I'm Braden, Wuerch. I'm here to provide insane value to you guys every day to grow you personally and financially as well. Alright guys, so today we're going to cover some very important key information that you absolutely need to know to scale your businesses to those mega numbers you see some people doing. What we're going to cover today is primarily going to focus on Facebook ads. Now, it can kind of apply to Google AdWords and some other marketing platforms, but this primarily applies to Facebook ads. So that's what we're going to be referring to. So what we're going to cover today is literally one of the most popular questions I get down in the comments, and that's what's the difference between vertical scaling and horizontal scaling. And we're not only going to cover the differences, but we're actually going to cover which one you should focus on more, when to focus on each one, to where you guys can go ahead and really efficiently scale very quickly. So if you're a beginner, just now starting to make sales, or you've been in the game for a while, you absolutely need to know this information to go ahead and get to those 6-figure per month numbers. But before we get into it, make sure to go ahead and smash that like button for me. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. I'm here for you guys every day to help you grow your businesses to successful numbers. Alright guys, so first let's go ahead and cover the difference between vertical and horizontal scaling, and then we'll go ahead and get into where your focus should be and how to actually go about scaling to those mega numbers. So first off, with horizontal scaling, it's literally spreading out. It's exactly how it sounds. And if you guys have been following me for a while, you know that my main focus is on horizontal scaling. And this is where a lot of people lack focus with Shopify dropshipping. So when you actually focus on horizontal scaling, you are going to beat the competition. And that's what we're trying to do. Shopify dropshipping is getting more saturated. So in order to go ahead and set yourselves apart, you're going to need to go ahead and do what everybody else isn't doing. So with scaling horizontally, this can apply to lookalike audiences. This can apply to retargeting. This can apply to scaling out into other countries. Essentially, with horizontal scaling, you're creating more ad sets. That's essentially all it is. You're creating more ad sets. And this is where I've talked for one product, you can literally have 30 to 80 plus ad sets running at one time for just one product. There's been times when in my ads manager, I literally have hundreds of ad sets running. And what's great about this is that your profit margin, you can typically keep pretty high compared to what we're getting ready to talk about with vertical scaling. Now, vertical scaling is literally just raising the budget of the ad sets themselves. So where horizontal scaling is actually creating more ad sets, vertical scaling is raising those ad sets, the budget of each of the individual ad sets up. Now, vertical scaling is still very powerful, but it has its flaws in that the more you scale up the budget with Facebook ads, the more unstable the ads become. And so typically, you're going to be able to scale up ad sets vertically, especially if you've got a winning product. But what happens is as you keep going up higher and higher in budget, it becomes more unstable and you lose your profit margin. So with horizontal scaling, a lot of times you can keep a very high profit margin. With vertical scaling over time, yeah, you're going to be going up in sales numbers, but your profit margin is going to be going down. And this is a video I did the other day on cutting the fat and where you should worry about your profit margin instead of just revenue. Because the problem is, if you're going ahead and you're doing those $5,000 days, that's great, but it doesn't matter if you have a crappy profit margin. You want a really good profit margin with those $5,000 days, or it doesn't matter. And essentially, if you're fulfilling the orders on your own, doing the customer service on your own, or you've got your own VAs, it's going to be more work for either you or your VAs if you have just more sales with lower profit margin. What you want is high sales, high profit margin, and that's where vertical scaling kind of lacks. And then frankly, vertical scaling was what everybody focuses on from the very beginning. They want to get to, how do I get my budget up? When should I be going ahead and scaling the budget? And yes, you guys need to go ahead and focus on that, but that's where I'm seeing everybody's focus. So that is why I talk all the time on horizontal scaling. So to recap on what it is, horizontal scaling is more ad sets. That's all it is more ad sets. So like I said, this can apply to creating more ad sets by going into other countries. So for one product, you could have ad sets in the United States, United Kingdom, other European countries, South America. And then it's also creating ad sets with, look-alike audiences, doing different percentage types. You've got different conversion events. So you can have several look-alike audiences there. Then you've got retargeting ads. So when you actually have all these, this is where you have a ton of ad sets for one product. And then when you have several products, it's even more. And then vertical scaling, all that is raising the budget of the individual ad sets themselves. So where you should go ahead and focus on. You should honestly focus on both at the same time. But like I said before, don't place more of an emphasis on vertical scaling, because frankly, that is how you can get to those $5,000 days by vertical scaling. It's going to take a lot of work and a lot more time. If you focus on horizontal scaling from the very beginning, this is where I have students that literally come in, they'll be doing a couple $100s a day, and we get them to 5,000 plus a day within a matter of weeks, just because you can go ahead and scale insanely fast if you scale out rather than just focusing on up. Now, as you're scaling out and you're creating those ad sets, you're going to be going ahead and raising the budget every couple days. This is where it takes work, and the whole thing about Shopify Dropshipping becomes passive. Guys, it can be more passive for you if you want, but if you want to make great money with it, you're going to need to work. It takes work, but it's very rewarding. So with it, you want to go ahead. First, my biggest recommendation, once you find that a product actually has potential, can make sales, scale out with countries. This is what I talk about all the time. Get out of the big five. I don't even like to really test in the big five. Minus United States, United Kingdom, but get out, go all over Europe, get, each individual ad set, have an individual country, one country per ad set, and this is where, just with the regular automatic bids alone, you can have, 30 plus ad sets just differing in country themselves. So that would be the first thing. Then you're going to go ahead and you're going to make look-alike audiences, and then over time you'll do retargeting. Now every 2 to 3 days you'll go ahead and be scaling up the budget. You'll want to do this slow to where you keep your profit margin as high as possible as you're scaling up. But this should be the main focus, guys. Scaling out and scaling horizontally, and then focusing on scaling up. If you do it the other way around, which is what most people do, and they focus on just scaling up, you guys, it'll be so hard, and you may never even get to those $5,000 plus days. And if you do, your profit margin is probably going to be terrible. So just go ahead and really focus on how to scale out really quickly, and then how to scale up. And like I said, this takes more work because you're having to manage a lot more ad sets. A lot of times when I do consulting calls or anything like that, I go into people's ads managers, and they only have around 20 ad sets. Guys, if you want to go ahead and capitalize on a product, you want to have a ton of profitable, and I mean profitable, this is where you got to go in and cut the fat, but you want to have a ton of profitable ad sets. And if you guys do this, you guys can scale insanely fast. But I hope you guys found some value in this. I just want to cover what horizontal and vertical scaling is, where your focus should be. But if you found any value in this, please